Hey guys and girls, it's Blackjack with 396 Guitars. We're back with our Stratocaster shaped object with the 12's and the trim setup. This is a final checkout. I'm delivering the guitar back to him tomorrow. So I'm just doing a double check. I like to always set up my guitars, whatever work I do on them, I let them sit at least for days, a couple of days, and then I recheck my work, and especially with this one, because damn. Let's get to work. Now this should be a relatively short video because really all we're doing is double checking what we have. I'm sorry for when I flip the camera up and we're talking to each other. I'm in my shop, which has been kind of collected up with a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't belong in here, and I only want guitar related projects in here. I digress. So let us first check the tuning. This guitar has been sitting well, before I do that even, I'm going to show you, I ordered some extra trem springs because it came with 3 and they were not in the right position, and in the process of doing everything that we did on this guitar, I wasn't getting enough tension to pull the bridge back against the extra heavy strings. So to show you, and I know the camera is going to have a hard time picking that up, but the 3 silver ones or gray ones are the ones that this guitar came with. I ordered more Fender replacement springs, and at first I tried all 5 black ones, and believe it or not, these are Fender replacements. They were not, still didn't have enough tension. It was a little bit better. So I tried several different configurations, but I ended up going with the original gray ones and 2 of the Fender replacements. Now, some of you, and I know I'm going to get a whole bunch of trolls going, oh no, you only need 3 springs on there, and nobody ever plays with 5 springs. That's baloney. I have done a million of these, and sometimes you have to add more spring tension. You may be able to find extra heavy springs and put them in there and only use 3 of them, but some guys will only play their Strats if it has 5 springs. Springs, S-P-R-I-N-G. So when I originally set it up, I was getting so much pull away from the body, from the bridge. And remember, the equilibrium that you have to achieve between string tension and spring tension has to keep that bridge floating, and you have to find that equilibrium. The string tension was pulling and jacking that bridge so far up that it was unacceptable. So that's what led me to that. Come on, focus. Putting more springs in there. Now, we're going to just plug in here. And like I said, this thing has been, after I finally got done, and the other day at the end of the first video, I said, that's it, I'm done. This has been a real trial, but I put a feather in my own damn hat. And I'm pretty proud of that, because what the customer wants is what the customer wants, and he wanted 12's on here. So this guitar has been sitting for a little while, 48 hours since the last time I worked on it, and got everything set where I am okay with it, and I'm ready to give this back to him, and so go rock and roll with this thing. So we're going to check the tuning first, just a static tuning. E, dead on. A, dead on. D, dead on. G, dead on. B, dead on. E, high E, dead on. Everything stayed where I put it, which means this guitar has settled into equilibrium between the string tension and the spring tension on the claw. And I have to say also, I still have some adjustment here which I didn't have before. So that extra spring tension underneath on the trem system and the claw, the spring claw, I finally found that equilibrium. One final note, because he went with such heavy strings, all the wound strings would not fit completely down into the nut slots. We were getting, when you jam a chord and you hit that trem, it should pop back into tune wherever you have it set, either pitch or half flat or whatever you play in. And if it's staying sharp, it's not moving here or it's not moving here. And I know that it wasn't moved. Here is fine. This is metal, and I lube that in every setup. So I got looking closer, and sure enough, the A string was getting stuck in the nut, the E string, all three of the wound strings. When you got into the wire strings, I still measured them, but I didn't need to cut them. So I had to widen, not make them deeper, but widen them to accept the thicker string so that they can slide. Every time you whammy that string, you're stretching that string and pulling on it. It needs to be able to slide over the saddle and slide over the bridge, or the nut, I'm sorry. So I get excited about these things, so excuse me. So what we have left to do is just check the measurements, put the cover on the back, and give this back to him and let him get blisters on his fingers until the cows come home. Stand by. I'm going to check one thing, and then we'll double check the measurements. Okay, quickly, we're going to recheck all of my work from the last couple of days. Well, I've had this guitar for a week, and each time I work on it, of course, I let it set for a day or two. I'm going to check the neck relief, which is always 12 thousandths of an inch at the 7th fret. You capo at the 1st fret, you grab the body joint, and then we check. And damn, that thing is just kissing. Might need to straighten out slightly, but I'm going to let him play it for a while. It's just touching this, but it seems slightly loose. But let's look at that in conjunction with the string height. Bionic eyes. We should be right at 5 or just under 5. We're just between 4 and 5/64. Yep. 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 Oh, it's beautiful. This guitar has set into its equilibrium. It is liking all of the adjustments that we did. Well, liking is a relative term. I'm not sure any guitar really is going to like 12's. These are freight train guitar strings. But all the adjustments we made, we found that equilibrium, neck relief, string height, intonation, the equilibrium between the string tension and the spring tension on the trem system on the back of the guitar is all working in conjunction. Here is the real test. When we actually put the bar in there, I usually get tight and then come off. When we put the bar in there and we check our tuning while we're trimming it. Now, this is going to be hard to do with that in there, but we're going to try. So, E, dead on. A, dead on. D, dead on. G, dead on. Everything's still in tune. So I just activated that trem system with all the strings. I wasn't strumming a chord. E, dead on. A, dead on. D, dead on. I'm looking at my chord tuner over here. B, dead on. Now we'll do each individual string. Low E. It comes right back to pitch. A comes right back to pitch. D, right back to pitch. Comes right back to pitch. B, right back to pitch. Right back to pitch. This guitar is in perfect equilibrium between the string tension, the spring tension on the trem system underneath, and that's the most you could ask for, because being a Silvertone entry-level, I'm not going to say cheap guitar, it just is what it is. It's a budget entry-level guitar. It's not cheap. This guitar is going to play as well as the last $5,000 Stratocaster I had on my bench that I did. And it's in equilibrium. Now, that being said, you could definitely upgrade to a better bridge and a thicker, much thicker. Pull this out and I'll try to illustrate this. And I told him about this, and he was actually way ahead of me. What if I put a better bridge on the guitar? Yeah, well, you know, you can always upgrade, and we do custom work here. We change guitars from their original configuration and try to upgrade them and make them better than what they were born at. This is very thin. This is it's a Silvertone. It's not an American-made Fender, but I have it working exactly as Leo Fender designed it, and somebody copied that and put this bridge in there and made this guitar and built it. Insert Asian manufacturer at your will. Doesn't matter. You know my mantra, every player deserves to have their instrument play and operate as well as it can possibly play. And this one is done and ready to rock. Now, he already bought himself, he's way ahead of me, he wants to get a new bridge, and he already bought some Seymour Duncan pickups that he wants me to put in at a later date, and he was asking about maybe swapping out the neck with a Fender neck. Well, cost effectiveness is, yeah, it's negotiable. You could probably start with a better bassline instrument, but this guitar is pretty solid wood. I don't know what it is. I'm going to assume it's some sort of alder or maybe maple glued together. The neck is definitely the first upgrade I would do on a guitar like this, because it will change the instrument quickly and vastly. Just to check my other measurements, Yahtzee. Everything is exactly where I left it 48 hours ago. We're going to call this guitar done. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I'm Blackjack with 396 Guitars. I love to work on guitars. I want to work on your guitar. I hope you guys have a great weekend. It's Thursday here, but have a great weekend. We'll talk soon.